Okay, what do you think of this picture? Well, this was me 4 or 5 years ago. And what do you think of this picture? Well, this is me now. So the thing is, I can show you a lot of other pictures of my current physique as well and compare them with pictures from when I hadn't started working out 4 to 5 years ago. But that is not what this video is about. The aim of this video is to tell you what transformation videos actually should. Okay, so me comparing myself only with photos from when I hadn't started working out 5 to 6 years ago, in my personal opinion, is pointless. Because of course none of us are born with perfect bodies, and unless and until we start working towards our body and we start taking care of it, we are bound to look like a potato for the most part. Okay, so I'll just break down what a real transformation video should look like. This is obviously until a point where I've reached right now. I currently am at the cusp of intermediate and advanced stages, which took me some 4 to 5 years to get here. So this is how I looked before I started out. No real muscle, typically skinny fat, unfortunate hair. The amount of body fat I have is clearly noticeable by the fat I have on my face. Here's another picture of me from 5 to 6 years ago with the face fat clearly showing. So I didn't take a lot of pictures of my body back then, as in I didn't take a lot of shirtless pictures back then because I was not very confident in my skin. And I'd like to take this moment to specifically mention that I was very generally underconfident during that stage of my life. Not to say that anyone with such physique would have a lack of confidence in general, but what I'm trying to say is that if you start working on your body and you improve upon it, then your self-confidence is bound to shoot up like this. This is a picture from when I had just started working out. You can see a lot of fat on my arms with tiny traces of visible muscle mass, face fat still being there, and of course, unfortunate hair. So this was a stage when it had been 6 months into me working out. I still hadn't gotten very regular with my workouts though. At this point, I had limited my diet a bit too much to get to a skinny condition from a skinny fat one. Still not a lot of muscle mass though. And for the unfortunate hair part, we'll just have this picture. Okay, this marks a year of completion of the process. You can see a little bit of muscle, reduced body fat percentage still, and I'm starting to have some visible progress. Okay, this was the time when I just started getting more consistent with my workouts. Diets were still a hit and a miss though. I was still trying to figure out how to manage my diet better. And unfortunate hair for this part goes like this. Moving on, 6 months later, I had a little bit more muscle, still not very developed. A thing to note here is that since I was a beginner, changes were more rapid than what an intermediate or an advanced person would have. This I feel is an amazing aspect of how our body and our muscles grow, because the initial stages of it where we need motivation the most and a reason to stick to the routine the most, the changes that you'll be observing in your body will very well provide for it. Completion of 2 years had my muscles getting fuller, while fat still not being a lot. Had started managing my diets a little bit better at this stage, which owed to the relatively fuller muscles without a lot of fat gain. Had also started getting visible abs at this stage, by the way. Okay, an update at this point. I suffered a couple of very major injuries in the most vulnerable parts of anyone's body, that is the lower back and the shoulders, which kept me out of the gym for months together. Hurdles are a part of any game. You've just gotta keep your heads up, embrace those hiccups and get back stronger. I know this is very cliched, but it is what it is. Also at this point, I had gained enough muscle for me to think that if I quit then 2 years of this hard work that I had done to gain all this muscle and strength would have been a waste. So that kept me from giving up in the gym. Another factor which keeps you going is a phenomenon known as the muscle memory, where if you've lost some muscle during a long break, you will be able to recover that muscle when you resume this time as compared to when you had just started working out. Consider it like an arcade game where you won't be asked to start from the very beginning if you've lost a life in between the game. You'll not land right at the point where you lost your life either, but you'll at least start at the last checkpoint, which I think is a big win. Why am I even doing this? Coming back from the injury, I had almost touched the third year mark, which had me discover some new dimensions of muscle the next year. This is actually a technique used by a lot of bodybuilders who find themselves stuck in a plateau, where they take a short break and they come back stronger to just break out of their plateau and discover some newly found gains. Also at this stage I was kind of lean bulking, so my fat percentage didn't really spike up, which is why you can see some very faint ab lines as well. As we enter into the fourth year of the routine, I was just finished with my placement season in IIT Kharagpur, because of which I had to go a little easy on my diets. I thought I'll be in a bulk for some time to have relatively higher energy levels to be able to pull off all-nighters during my placement season and to be able to prepare for the upcoming college football competitions a month or two later. Adding to the misery was a couple of serious injuries because of football and some random diseases which caused another major break at this point, resulting in a phase I'm not particularly proud of. This eventually led to a dirty bulking phase, which went on for a while. So the fifth year was the peak of my dirty bulking phase. It also had months of me not being able to work out properly because of gyms being closed in COVID lockdown, and my lazy ass using workouts are trash as a reason to not work out for months on end. I later had a Jugadu workout equipment set installed in my house when not being able to work out started creating an itch inside to desperately prevent myself from not losing the muscle and strength I had gained over the years. A perfect glimpse of this miserable phase is the unfortunate hair and beard phase as well, surprisingly this time around. And finally in February and March 2022, when lockdowns were lifted and gyms were opening full-fledgedly again, I had an enough is enough moment and I decided to start cutting. It's been 3 months into my cut now and this is how I look. I think this is the best shape of my life till date, and I think I'll continue with the cut for a while because I want to see whether I can get those chiseled 8-pack abs on my belly or not. So this was my transformation video of 5 to... So this was my transformation journey of 4 to 5 years condensed into 6 to 7 minutes of a purely delightful video, I hope. Also, as you can clearly see, I had a lot of hiccups and a lot of huge gaps in this journey, which is why it took me 4 to 5 years to get here. You can very well achieve this and maybe even more in a lesser amount of time, provided you start today. Okay, that is it for this video. I really hope you found something useful and it inspired at least some of you to get your asses off and head over to the gym right now. On a serious note, it'll really make me glad if I was able to influence at least one of you to start your fitness journey today. So, happy being fit or something? I don't know. So how much time would it really take for you to get to that physique goal that you've been eyeing for so long? All of that and much more in one of my next videos. Please stay tuned.